to the Kateland Baes Show. Today's special guest is Jessie Desormeaux, here to talk about Mary Kay.
Hi, I'm so honored to be here. It's nice to meet you. I watch the show every week. I'm really excited today.
Welcome to the show, Jessie. And so, tell me more about Mary Kay, and what do you have to say about her?
Well, Mary Kay was born May 12, 1918 in Hot Wells, Texas, and she passed away sadly November 22nd, 2001. She was an only child to her parents Edward Alexander and Lula Wagner, and her mother would work 14-hour shifts at the local restaurant to care for her and her father, and her father was very ill, so Mary Kay would go to school in the morning and then she would come home in the evening and take care of her father. Whenever she had trouble, she would call her mother at work, and she would always encourage her and say, "You can do it, Mary Kay, you can do it." She had a very strong spirit and was always very enthusiastic about life, and this rubbed off on Mary Kay and turned her into the person she was.
Very interesting. Now, what led to her success in her company? Do you know?
Well, it started out actually at a very young age. She was good at public speaking and debates, but her dream was to be a doctor. So after she graduated from high school in 1943, she went to the University of Houston to study there, but she dropped out and pursued her career in sales instead because her husband, whom she married at 17, Ben Rogers, had gone off to fight in World War II, and she needed to support herself, her husband, and her 3 children, Ben Jr., Richard, and Marilyn. Sadly, after her husband returned from war, they divorced in 1946, and she continued her job in sales, selling books door to door, then later went off to sell products for Stanley Home Products, and then World Gifts. She found herself very discriminated against in these jobs because very many men were promoted ahead of herself just because of her gender. One day she had enough because a man she had actually trained herself was promoted to the position where he would be her boss and receive twice the salary. She thought this was completely unfair, so she decided to write a book. That way she could encourage women in the business world and tell them about her experiences. So to start her book, she wrote 2 lists, things that were done well in the companies and things that needed to be improved. And while she was writing these lists, she realized it was less of a novel and more of a business plan, and she should put that into action and make her own company.
Well, it's hard to believe that, at such a young age that she had to face such inequality with men. Now, what was the inspiration for her company?
Well, in 1963, she started a company called Beauty by Mary Kay, which is now known as Mary Kay Cosmetics. She started this company with only $5,000 of her life savings, and she purchased a formula for a skin cream that she often used and rented a storefront. And her son Richard, who was only 20 years old at the time, helped her out and really helped her with selling the products and endorsing the company.
Well, very interesting. How was the company started? How did she start her business?
Well, they actually did very well in their first year. They made $198,000 in sales just selling products, having consultations with customers in their store. And now it's actually a multi-billion-dollar company with over 3.5 million employees across 37 different countries.
What was your company like today? Who runs the company?
Well, today, independent sales consultants work for the company. They buy the products and then they can host parties or go door to door and sell their products. So they really start up their own business, and a lot of women work for this company all around the world.
Very interesting. Now, with all the success she's had, and she has Mary Kay consultants working for her, she must have won some awards. Can you name any?
Yeah, she actually inspired millions of people around the world. So she won multiple awards. She won 61. 56 of those were in her lifetime, and actually 5 were after death, and they've named some awards after her. She really gave women new opportunities that they didn't have before, and she praised people to their success. She also has a charity called the Mary Kay Charitable Foundation, which they provide funding to nonprofit organizations so they can raise more awareness about cancer and help with the research for women.
I think that's wonderful, and I'm glad that she was such a strong, independent businesswoman who paved a way for many women in this generation. And I thank you so much, Jessie, for being on our show. And
thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And stay tuned for our next show. Until then, bye.